Back in the 1990s, I had a subscription to Nintendo Power magazine. Who didn't? So, like everyone else around my age, I fell victim to the false promise in Volume 72 from May 1995. A blurb for a 2D fighting game for Super Nintendo called Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, coming April 1995. Wait, this is the May 1995 issue. So when you read this, it's saying the game is already out? Lies! So, of course we know this blurb was referring to the 1994 game Kaijuu Daikessen, a Super Famicom game released in Japan that at some point was going to come to North America, and then didn't. And that's the game we're gonna talk about today. Oh, and I have a new co-host to introduce you guys to. It's a robot I built out of scrap parts. In fact, his name is Scraps. That's Scraps. It stands for Symmetrical Converter Robot and, Performance System. There you go.
Father, give me a penis.
Godzilla Kaijuu Daikessen can be translated to Godzilla the Great War, or Monster War, or Strange Beast Monster War. It depends on who you ask. I'll call it Monster War. Ew, not that one! This game was actually a spiritual sequel to a similar 1993 game released for the Turbo Duo called Godzilla Battle Legends. Both games were developed by Alpha System. I reviewed Battle Legends a while ago, and 90% of my comments on that game are gonna carry to this one.
Give me a penis. Father, I must procreate.
Ew, procreate with what?
Give me a penis. Father, this is not a bit.
This is going off the rails. Battle Legends and Monster War do have some big differences worth reviewing. Battle Legends was a CD-based game, while Monster War was on Super Famicom. So, Turbo Duo wins on sound, and I'd say it wins on soundtrack, too. But Monster War still sounds good for 16-bit. And its soundtrack actually got a commercial release. Battle Legends just also moves smoother, it's a little bit quicker. Battle Legends features different versions of key monsters. For example, it had Showa and Heisei King Ghidorah. And as you play the campaign as Godzilla, his sprite changes to match the theme. So you've got Godzilla 1955, 1964, 1971, 1993, more. Monster War has none of that, and it also loses some playable characters like Rodan, Batra, and Mecha King Ghidorah. But Monster War does have two new playable characters, Mothra and Biollante. Biollante appeared in Battle Legends but was unplayable. Both games have really cool monster sprites. Like Battle Legends, Monster War has 3 options: a normal mode, 2-player versus, and a setup menu with difficulty and controller options. But there is a major win for today's game, Monster War. And that is that you can play in normal game mode as any of the monsters. In Battle Legends, you could only play 1-player mode as Godzilla. And I'm so glad that's changed for Monster War. Now, finally, you can campaign as any monster. Anyway, I'm gonna pick Godzilla. But there's also Anguirus, King Ghidorah, Gigan, Megalon, Mechagodzilla, Biollante, and Mothra. And this is different. You can now choose which order to progress in by selecting your opponent. As you can see, they're scattered all around Japan. I always appreciate it when these games do this effect with the background where different parts are moving at different speeds. Like Battle Legends, backgrounds call back to Godzilla movies, and some show interactivity. I got Anguirus in a corner here. I'm gonna whip him. I could do this all day, buddy. I'll run out the clock, that's fine. Where are you gonna go? What's he gonna do? Oh, what the fuck? So, this is not an intuitive game. There is a logic to the fight system, but it really helps to read up before playing, because there are 3 meters here. You got your regular old health meter, underneath is a stun meter. Different characters have different stun rates. Then you have the Wrath attack you can do when this icon fills up. Wrath reduces your recovery time on the stun meter, but it greatly increases damage. And then it goes on, incorporating roars, proximity. It's a whole thing. It's still a fighting game, but it's just got a tad more strategy involved. Which is why its practice mode needs to calm the fuck down so I can get a feel for some of this shit. Yeah, just like I said with Battle Legends, the AI in this game is not pulling any punches. Even in practice mode. Calm the fuck down! I'm just trying to pull off a wrath attack here to see what it looks like, but Megalon's not giving me an inch! I'm on practice mode, let me practice, you fuck!
Father, I require that beer bottle if it is complete.
Why do you want my beer bottle? Wait, are you gonna turn it into a penis?
It will more than suffice.
Whatever, just take it, get out of here. Hold on, does this mean the whole show I've been sucking on Scraps' dick? I'm really curious how history would be different if this really did make it to the States as Destroy All Monsters. I didn't have a Super Nintendo, but this would have made me wish I did. But I do wonder how it would perform. Those familiar with the characters would obviously eat it up. Would it get much further out than that? The gameplay is fine, but I don't think it stands out. I can't stress enough how competitive the 2D fighter space was in the 1990s. Maybe the Godzilla IP name would carry this game far, but his IP was in a dry spell in the States when this came out. He was still more of a late night or weekend schlock watch, and a punchline in pop culture, so I can't really guess how this game would do.
Father, I have excellent news. I have reared a child.
He estado dando el regalo de la vida gracias a los órganos necesarios que le proporcionaste a mi padre. Gracias.
I picked Biolante for stage 4, but she sure feels like end boss level. I feel like I have to merge with her sprite to get a hit in. This move is making my meters go crazy. Fine, King Ghidorah then. Come on, I emptied his health bar! Oh, you're not gonna give that to me? I needed one more hit? Oh, fuck you! The final round of the game is against Heisei Mechagodzilla or the Gatango. You can unlock these characters to play as in Versus mode alongside Super Mechagodzilla. Super Mechagodzilla is especially cool. The ship Garuda can detach. So Mechagodzilla makes sense, but Gatango? Of all the available options, making Gatango a playable character in this monster fighting game is a choice. How do you even punch? Oh, there we go. Oh, I could face the other way. Ah, shit, a little help? Can I get that back? This shit's kinda easy when no one's being player 2, but at least now I can practice some moves. Can I just land on Godzilla? Oh, it's not working. Check this out, Gotengo's Wrath meter has Manda wrapped around it. Can you see it? There are some other non-playable character references. The Pteranodon robot appears when Super Mechagodzilla wins. And Batra pops up during a Mothra special move. In the end, I want to say I like this game slightly more than Battle Legends, even when you consider all the stuff that's downgraded from the Turbo Duo game. It's still a blast to play with your friends in Versus mode, and it still has just enough match customizations there too. One-player mode is still rougher than it needs to be, but at least now you can be other monsters when you're playing alone. Plus, I don't know, something about this being on Super Famicom / Super Nintendo hardware just makes me appreciate what it pulls off more than the Turbo Duo game. 3.5 stars! I'm really glad Godzilla got to participate in the whole 1990s 2D fighting game frenzy. That little section of video game history was a huge part of my childhood, and even though I didn't get to play this game back then, finding out that it existed later was a real treat. It was almost like a retcon for me. Anyway, what do you think about this game?
Abuelo,
What?
como se dice, inhereda penis.
No, you don't need a penis.
Necesito un pene, abuelo.
Caught my son, father.
Don't ever expect to see these characters again. Because I just wrecked them, and I'm not making these props again.